cry and try to sleep. Sleep won't come the whole night through. You're eating hard.
Are you ready? Released in 2005 for the PlayStation Portable, and developed by Eat Sleep Play, the later creators of Twisted Metal 2012, came possibly the most underrated game in the franchise. A complete gem to conclude our journey, and without a doubt, end on a high note. Welcome everyone to Twisted Metal Head Up, 19 years later. Returning back to the unpredictability of emulation after our trouble with 2012, I was happy to see things were running great, aside from these cutscenes that I have to slow down because it's rather seizure-inducing. With no more issues, it was time to pick a character for our last tournament.
Good idea. Do that.
Turns out Twisted Metal Head-On is a direct sequel to Twisted Metal 2, and because of this, stands as the only game that contains a clear continuity to the previous title. And this game makes this decision more interesting than perhaps any other.
Simon Whittlebone, is that you?
I remember this making me want to read the info screens for each character. As a matter of fact, most of these characters have died and have been replaced or something.
Well, I want more lift, more bounce.
Anyway, I thought I might pick Axel, as we played with him through our journey through 2. But unfortunately, characters like Mr. Slam and Axel are initially locked.
Man, that sucks!
It's kind of a bummer, because I remember seeing how the circumstances of their previous wish affected them in this one, and I wanted in some way to have that continuity continue in our playthrough. So I kept that in mind while choosing.
No way.
It took me a second, but I finally, believe it or not, settled with Twister. Not my usual MO, but her stats impressed me. And I felt like going fast. I don't know, it's like 2012 has given me the fever.
Guess what?
Sister to Amanda from Twisted Metal 2, Miranda, a racer herself, seeks to reunite with her sister and find out where she's been all this time. Considering what happened to her, I was interested to see this all play out. I mean, she sure as hell wasn't buried. Formally. Now you're gonna fuck this one up, Calypso. Level 1. Big Blue Stadium. With similar flair seen in 2012, Calypso kicks things off with a nice pregame speech.
I am Calypso.
And a rock concert that feels like such a product of its time. It's interesting to see how much of this game is the same from Twisted Metal 2, but for some reason Calypso has lost the majority of his hair.
What?
Perhaps this is supposed to be like a connection to black, like the middle point? I don't know.
It had to be like this.
Starting with a laughable 3 enemies to defeat, the continued lack of an enemy screen leaves us once again in the dark. What is that, fucking 1 out of 8? It was 2.
It had to be.
Getting a handle on the fastest character I've played yet was a bit of a challenge at first, but initiating my special attack on Outlaw cleared any doubt that I was feeling. Honestly, this depiction of Twister's tornado is so cool looking and quite the upgrade to what we've seen in the past. It's also very effective. Continuing to dish out damage, I delivered a special to Thumper and another to Outlaw, eliminating him from the battlefield, leaving just a weak Crimson Fury and Thumper remaining, which was anything but difficult. First level down. It was good. I had a good time.
Shit is so easy. Fuck it. I don't even play no more. I'm through. I don't play no more. We don't want to play no more, man.
Level 2. Los Angeles.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Facing a whopping 4 enemies, the return to this drainage-ridden level was a weird walk-through memory park. It's like playing Liberty City Stories or something. It's different, but yet the same. It's like an artificial nostalgia. Luckily, while being under the influence of this game's odd witchcraft,
Those are some powerful herbs, giving me dark visions.
The open nature of this level and the speed of Twister helped to quickly locate and obliterate the competition. I was getting twofers with a tornado special, and it was so satisfying. I caught Hammerhead and Outlaw and just like immediately sent them into a pillar. Continuing to have almost everyone literally caught in my vortex. I was feeling good. Until things took a dramatic turn and I, thanks to some bridge, napalmed myself. Hammerhead then froze me immediately after and did like nothing with the opportunity. Probably just talking shit.
You move, you're dead.
And I say I'm dead. And I move.
Deciding to cut my losses and just restart, the subsequent use of my first special turned out to be a real beauty.
You fool!
I guess Thumper just couldn't wait to join in. He like tried to use his special afterwards, but I gave him another taste of Gale Force Winds. Game over for him. I also honed back in on Sweet Tooth and ended him rather quickly, leaving just Outlaw and Mr. Grimm. Simple task. Locating a hidden health within a warehouse, Mr. Grimm finds us shockingly fast, beginning a sort of back and forth, sharing the love between us. I fought a lot of healths chasing these guys around, which made my eventual downfall all the more ironic. Like, awesome! Yet, my warehouse discovery returned to bestow another dose of its life-saving elixir.
Oh, it's strange.
Time to destroy these weaklings. Oh my god, he's got full health! Gonna need more weapons. With little luck in the health department, I was able to obtain a cache of weapons, including an accumulation of specials, which turned out to be really all I needed. What a comeback!
I feel shocked.
Level 3. Paris. Sensing a pattern in these levels, our return to these cheesy streets took a more offensive turn this time around. I couldn't find the church, so I just laid down the law. The laws of nature. The gradual increase to the enemy count is noticed, but not necessarily felt. I was having a lot of laid-back fun here.
Come on, sucker!
I gotta give it to Eat, Sleep, Play. They really nailed a comfortable feel here. I'm not in complete control, but I do feel like I can do some cool stuff. Just right. After a small reign of torment and the elimination of a fleeing Hammerhead, I had soon found myself combing the outskirts of the city, trying to prevent my own untimely demise. I honestly started to think I wouldn't find one, but I lucked out near the bridges. Good as new. With a new lease on life and a severely weakened Sweet Tooth, he naturally became my focus. And I tell ya, he didn't seem to like it.
It's a bomb!
Well played, little devil. Die. That was a fun little skirmish versus an old rival. Now who else? Oh my god, Thumper. My other nemesis! Leaving just Mr. Grimm and Grasshopper remaining? What? Our challenges with this level came to a rather anticlimactic end, as Grasshopper died in my vortex, I think, and Mr. Grimm just tried to run. And failed. I'm not sure this beat cheesing, but still fun.
I'll allow it.
Now, if we were strictly following the level progression of the second, it would be at this point when our worldly tour would cast off into the hell pit of despair that is Amazonia. But here we don't get that. We don't even get Minion. Bear witness to this totally worth it replacement.
Do you need a bodyguard? I'd die for you.
This feels as weird as it did for me the first time.
Can't believe you're actually standing here in my living room, Eddie. Never thought the day would come.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too.
Shielding up from the start, and reinforced with ATV riding followers, Operation Eliminate These Assholes began. Alrighty guys, this is exactly what you'd imagine a minigun-mounted IndyCar would do against some ATVs. I really got in some good hits here with the napalm too, which helped a lot. It was surprisingly easy. To the point, I don't understand why this needed to happen even more. Unshielded, but now covered with another team of men, Operation Repeat the Last Operation went into action. Bombarding him with all I could, I soon discovered our special worked extremely well at keeping him at arm's reach. Especially his flamethrower thing on top, which consequently is the hardest part to hit. Unless you have napalm. It's weird, this has become my friend, kind of, in this game. Usually I don't like napalm. Alright guys, are you ready? Now it's the final battle. No joke though, this was actually intense as hell. More than I remember. I started on like the brink of death, which was, you know, great for the blood flow. And even after healthing up, our first encounter was a dramatic one. This guy's a madman. Or am I? That was fun, but Minion's better. Taking the bank. Level 5, the Roman ruins. Transporting us to Rome for the first time ever, we continue the tournament upon the ruins of yesteryear. That does an actual equally good job at summing up this video. See you later. Anyway, with an even lower 4 enemies to defeat, the rumble through the ruins began. Homing in on Sweet Tooth with a barrage of specials, I prevented him from using a teleporter to get away, and chased him down with a good old fire missile. Meeting back up with the rest of the gang in this archway, Roadkill dies almost immediately, leaving me a bit shocked, but not enough to ignore Outlaw. It's like I was experiencing some form of runner's high. Like everything was just flowing. I say this because, with just Grasshopper remaining, this somehow turned into a health hunting nightmare that brought my blissful jog into an unbearable sprint. I found one, but it wasn't until I saw my special accumulation that really put a smile on my face. The little fucker tried to get away, but there's no jumping in tornadoes. Oh yeah, that was good. Level 6, Russia. Yeah, I picked Russia. It's pretty cool you can pick, I guess. Reminds me of Black. Anyway, here we go. Returning things back to 5 enemies, the snowy cityscape that is Russia in this game has changed a lot since its 97 days. Ditching the small constraints of the past, we find it this time to be a larger, more open-ended field of battle. Spotting Mr. Slam off the get-go, I wasted 0 time in bombarding him into oblivion. Really, you could say the same about Crimson Fury. And Shadow. And Spectre. Based off my health, things were going pretty well here. But all of that will change, like always, with our last contestant, Hammerhead. This brings back flashes from the past. This was surprisingly more difficult than I expected. He kept like running away from all my attacks and actually got my health down pretty far. Causing another like pucker factor situation that, by this point, sums up the franchise pretty well.
No shit.
Level 7, Monaco. Based off the world-famous Grand Prix, it would appear at first glance that Twister would be a shoo-in for such a level. But unfortunately, it was not to be. I swear, if I wasn't busy destroying myself in this level, I sure was blocked or hit by seemingly every other car on the road in the process. The fact this race is happening while the tournament is insane. On a side note, I found this teleporter that puts you in this mini-game for extra bonuses and rewards. It's a cool touch, but I'm not good at it. With 5 enemy vehicles and a new slate of lives, apparently reloading gives you everything back, so that's good to know. Gone are the days of complete oppression. No need for even codes. Anyway, the semi-linear layout of this level was giving me flashbacks to our previous run-ins with highway levels. Surprisingly difficult to do battle in. But by this time, at the end of our Twisted Metal journey, I had developed a plan for such an occasion. The good old run and gun. By the way, guys, thanks for joining me on this noble quest. It's been fun.
Sweet, sweet hanging.
It's been long, but it's been fun.
Later on, my mission.
Sustaining some significant damage, a lucky little helicopter was there to save the day. Not a lot, but good enough. Dive-bombing Spectre and a tunnel vortex. Another health was bestowed upon me, amping up my assault on Spectre even more. This was slightly costly, but I was able to take out Shadow as well. Just another lap through the tunnel. With 2 enemies remaining, the accumulation of weaponry was added to the plan. Spotting an incoming thumper, I gave him the old 1-2 and sped off, leaving gifts in my wake. Gifts that would be returned to me by Sweet Tooth. In more ways than one. I got absolutely obliterated here. Luckily, these fools were weak as hell. Or not even involved in the battle. What are you doing, Thumper? This is still like my least favorite mission. Health is too scarce, and I don't like all the cars in the road. Level 8. Transylvania. Finding ourselves on what is usually the last level of the game. It's not. We venture to the strange but fitting allure of Transylvania. This level is actually not too bad. A nice spooky reprieve from the last. Trying to throw Thumper off a cliff. It fails, but he dies anyway, dropping our enemy count to 4, and still leaving our health in a good position moving forward. I was feeling pretty good, and continued to chase down our enemy relentlessly. Not thinking at all that I would be frozen and nuked. Like, what the hell happened to my health? On a positive note, someone died in the process, so we have 3 now. And I found some health. I'm as surprised as you are. Collecting weapon drops inside and outside of the castle, I met up with Shadow, and he managed to do the impossible. Froze me again, interrupting my special and everything. I don't even understand what I'm looking at. That was a bad move, Shadow. Oh, sweet revenge. The kills in this game are pretty satisfying. Definitely a highlight. Like, with just Warthog and Crimson Fury left, I set Warthog off a cliff and firebombed Crimson Fury. It was a tight close to a fun mission. Level 9. Tokyo Streets. Trading Hong Kong for Tokyo, we seem to veer from the second on this level to play homage to the third. Although sparing us from the lava-filled streets, this take on Tokyo takes a more natural approach, creating the backdrop for the final stretch of our tournament. Facing what seems to be the max of enemies in this game, 5, our midnight drive through this mega metropolis began, delivering some solid damage to Mr. Whittlewind. He tries his best to flee, but I think realized how futile that truly was. Napalming a sneaky grasshopper, she freezes me, which at first I thought she forgot to capitalize on, but I was wrong. Awesome! Now, left exploring the ledges and back alleys in search for a health, and doing everything to avoid the competition, I located a full one, which catapulted us back into the action. Laying down the law on Hammerhead and Outlaw. Once again, our accumulation of specials came in handy, and brought Hammerhead to a quick end. Just in time to be froze by Grasshopper again! Yeah, she definitely capitalized on that one, and then fell through the map, I think. Gathering another health before taking things onto the railroad was a great idea, because Warthog showed up and undid all of it. This was insane. The health drop behind this building hadn't been replenished yet, which forced me to, like, fend everyone off while it replenished. I'm amazed I was able to do this. It wasn't enough to get us completely out of the woods, but it was enough for now. Sneak attacking an unaware outlaw weakened him for a few fire missiles to finish off, setting us against our last contestant, Warthog. And I knew a good collection of weapons was going to benefit our battle. And even some health. With enough weapons to decimate a small country, I began my assault with our special, keeping him at arm's length and trying to prevent any attack. And although this worked well, you can see that any opportunity I gave him to attack, he did pretty fucking well.
You shit-kicking, stinky horse manure smelling motherfucker, you.
That was fun, but I'm glad it's over. Level 10. Tokyo Rooftops. Continuing to break the mold this franchise has set, it appears the days of just 8 levels per tournament have long since passed, and now what used to be 1 level is 2. Like, I mentioned the version of Tokyo we got in Twisted Metal 3 in the last level, and now it's like we're getting the vertical aspect of that level in this one. Like, they literally split it in 2.
You mean like down the middle in half?
Now, I'm not complaining about this, because it's really minor, but it does feel like this game is purposefully dragging things out at this point. Like, I didn't necessarily want it to end, I just thought it would.
I wish this nightmare would end.
Anywho, with another 5 enemies to defeat, I took out my minor frustrations with this portion of the game, and did a little teleporter cheesing. Or at least I tried. I kept chasing Shadow around this area, so like I tried to trick him and go the other way, and he saw right through that. I gave up on that idea, and just decided to take the fight back to the enemy. It was working pretty well, but not without taking its toll. With 3 enemies remaining, I spotted Mr. Whittlebone trying to sneak past, but it wasn't anything a nicely aimed power missile couldn't handle. Unfortunately, by the time I was able to destroy Warthog and wear down Grasshopper, my health had reached its limits, and my patience to continue to conserve lives died with it. Literally, at this point, I'm over it. Just die. Now it's Darktooth time. Lurking in the shadows, this atmospheric introduction to Darktooth does a great job at recreating what I imagined as a kid his cinematic reveal would look like. He even speeds off at the end, which is perfect, because the second one always had me thinking he was hunting me down at like 100 miles an hour before I first saw him. Like out there somewhere, homing in on me at Mach 10. It was really nerve-wracking, and I like it. Anyway, my first attempt with 1 life went about as well as expected. So I did what needed to be done and reloaded to a full armament of lives. This is all made even funnier when I managed to defeat him immediately after without losing a life. This was a nice surprise that was dashed away as quickly as it arrived, though, because this is just stage 1 of, I'm sure, a dozen stages to follow. Not really, but this made me do like the biggest eye roll I've ever done. I don't know, I'm not a fan of multi-stage bosses in this game, or maybe any other.
For fuck's sake.
It's just not my cup of tea. Are you dead?
I'm still alive.
Come on, man.
With his truck now destroyed, a local clown diner rips itself out of the pavement to reveal the towering Tower Tooth. This amalgamation is apparently driven by both Marcus and Needles Cane, which really just asks more questions than answers. Like, even if you play them.
Why are we here?
They have, like, split personalities or something. It's really weird, and I don't get it. It's crazy. After, what, 8 games? I don't get any of this shit!
I have. We have.
What have we discovered?
Not to do it again.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, collecting some weapons for the battle to come, Tower Tooth bum rushes me before I was even ready, starting things off on the back foot. Things were not looking good. Because they weren't. Trying to stay back and alive while making my attacks was often easier said than done, as he would usually shield up or use this super annoying shock move, similar to Outlaw. It's really heart-pumping and terrifying, just like before, and especially when you can, like, hear him getting closer. Oh my god! No lives remaining. Hell yes. I tried to dive bomb him with my special here, but I guess his lightning attack cancels out my twister, or messes with it. I honestly don't know what this was, but I'm kind of okay with it, because it walked me right into a hell. And all was right with the world. Continuing to make my rounds, collecting weapons, and occasionally taking shots at this Tower of Tooth. The back and forth run and gun strategy that has helped us many times in the past was working wonders here. keeping things in relative order, especially after memorizing the health drops. This more or less turned into like a guarantee of victory after a minute or two. This tower's inability to leave the road makes it honestly less threatening than the truck version we just faced. Because with this in mind, after gathering enough weapons, you could basically just sit back and bombard this thing from one of these ledges. I mean, it's not bulletproof, he had me on the ropes here a few times, but the restraints that make up this part of the fight are a little janky and allowed me to prevail once noticing them. Just a few well-aimed fire missiles to the Chrome Dome, and there you have it. We done it once again. Now it's time to get our wish and reunite with our long-lost sister. Meeting up with Calypso, we apparently forget about our wish and immediately berate him about her location.
Congratulations.
Hold it right there! Where is she?
I'm sorry, my dear.
You came all this way and forgot. Why?
You're right. I can simply wish to have my sister return to me.
Oh my god. Luckily, our quick-witted Miranda here lays down some stipulations.
I wish for my sister to be returned to me this instant, and she better be alive.
Granted.
Though, I doubt it matters. Spawning what seems to be a confused Mr. Grimm,
What's going on?
Spirit leaves him and smashes into the concrete, revealing a hand and the culmination of all Miranda's hopes. Her long-lost sister has returned at last.
Amanda?
Am I the only one getting, like, Creepshow vibes here?
I thought I'd never see you again. Oh, I missed you so much.
That works too. As a mega fan of the second, this wish is a cool nod to the past and a classic tale that fits well with the franchise. If not a little predictable. I can't say I was blown away by this, but it matched well as a sequel to the second and carried on Amanda's story. Her 52-million-year-old story. Well guys, I hope you all enjoyed my look into Twisted Metal Head On, 19 years later. Not having played this since its release, I had completely forgotten how good this game is. Head On is the Twisted Metal 3 we should have gotten back in 1998. This game does a decent job of continuing the continuity of the second, and updating a lot in the process. Some of these changes feel a bit needless, but at this point, it's almost endearing.
What do I win? You were not invited.
Black might have been the only one that didn't do something hilarious. Eat, Sleep, Play did another great job handling this franchise, and I honestly couldn't recommend this game more for those who are fans of the second. There's some good stuff here. To the shock of probably no one, Twisted Metal 2 still reigns supreme in my opinion. To me, it's the real foundation of the franchise. The second go-around that brought everything into focus, to deliver a well-rounded balance between interesting characters and wishes and heart-pumping gameplay. It's the complete package. But this game comes really close.
The torch has been passed.
Well everyone, that amazingly wraps up our journey through the Twisted Metal franchise. I think in the future I'll put out a video that is the culmination of all my thoughts on the franchise and my experience as a whole. But who knows? In the meantime, I want to thank you all for your love and support, and a very twisted thank you to our patrons. You guys rule. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for what's next. And as always, thanks for watching.